As we headed off on our retirement adventure, we decided to head to a Southeast Asian country we haven't travelled to before. Malaysia it was, travelling for 3 months, spending a month each in Kuala Lumpur, Ipoh and Penang to really immerse ourselves in each place, taking our time, making connections, and hopefully experiencing the real Malaysia tourists may not see. This is our overview of our time in Malaysia, a breakdown of costs, getting around, and how we found it. Most countries get a 30 to 90 day visa-free stay in Malaysia. The one thing you will need to do is complete a Malaysian digital arrival card within 3 days prior to arriving. You can do this on the official Malaysian government website. If you decide that Malaysia is going to be your home, you'll be looking at applying for an MM2H visa, which is a renewable multiple entry visa valid for 5 to 20 years for foreigners to live in Malaysia.
Accommodation. We spent $2,912 for the 3 months. You can spend as much or as little as you like, depending on amenities and location. We averaged 32 USD a night, staying in central Kuala Lumpur, Ipoh, and the beachside suburb of Tanjung Bunga on Penang Island. You can use the iProperty website for longer term stays, and we contacted a property in Malacca through that website, and they gave us a quote based on a 2-month stay, so you can negotiate that potentially. We booked our Airbnbs through that platform just because we were booking close to date and only for a month at a time, so that was the easiest way to do that. You can check things by asking extra questions, which we did, and you can certainly shop around given more time. We went and looked at a property next to the Rainbow Paradise in Tanjung Bunga, the Flamingo, which is a superior property. It has the same sort of outlook across the beach, but the facilities were next level up, and the apartment itself was tidier, although the cost is about 30% more.
Getting around Malaysia cost us 327 US dollars for the 3 months. There's amazing infrastructure, the metro rail in Kuala Lumpur, and the interregional trains which we use to travel to Ipoh, then onwards to Penang, are modern, efficient, and extremely affordable. The ferry crossing to Penang is cheap, it's convenient. They run every 30 minutes or so. Then once we're in the towns, we just downloaded the Grab app, which is Asia's Uber, and used Grab vehicles to get us from A to B. They're well priced, and it's a very easy system to use. The buses are also cheap to use as well.
After accommodation, food is your other significant cost. In the 3 months, we spent just on 1,600 USD on food, and that worked out to be around 18 USD per day. We also bought some groceries that came in at 330 USD. That was water, soft drinks, snacks, that sort of thing. The food in Malaysia is incredible, very diverse, because it comes from that multicultural aspect. You have Malay, Indian, Chinese, and Middle Eastern, and everything in between. It's incredible. All budgets are catered for, from hawker markets to Michelin restaurants. We tried a variety of food, some specialised items, and we certainly tried to work our way through each regional speciality. We really enjoyed the wet market aspect. For us coming from New Zealand, this is something that is more unique to Southeast Asia and Asia in general. That food court attached to the wet market, offering very, very reasonably priced food, is incredible, as is the street market atmosphere. It's amazing watching food prepared in front of you by people who are masters at what they do. And it's fun having interaction and forming connections with people over that shared passion for food. We love chatting to people who are stepping out of their comfort zone, trying to start new businesses, and just sharing that passion of food with their community. And we had some great conversations. The cafe and coffee culture is well alive in Malaysia. The cafes are beautiful, the coffee is exceptional, the roasting of the coffee beans. Different places had different roasts. I enjoyed Ipoh's white coffee. It was really tasty, and I had to limit myself to 2 a day. The wet markets, the coffee is a lot thicker. You can stand a spoon up in it, but still tasty. You can find Western food if you have a craving, which we did every now and then. We are used to eating all sorts of food, but we did enjoy the odd Western meal, and they do it incredibly well at great prices.
Aside from eating, there is so much to see and do in Malaysia. From temples to UNESCO-listed sites, stunning architecture, street art, and culturally significant areas to explore. Most of what there is to see and do is free, however, so just wandering around sites such as the Clan Jetties, the streets of Georgetown, Ipoh and KL just require lead power. Locals also put us on to some great free things to do, like local markets such as the Hin Bus Depot, where we got to enjoy live music. There are entry to some attractions like the Habitat and Utopia, but these are well worth the cost of doing. Sometimes nature is the best entertainment. The beaches and botanical gardens of Penang and KL were a great way to spend a day out. What was a little unexpected for us was the diverse array of flora and fauna in Malaysia. Even in the cities, we saw families of otters in the river in Ipoh, sea eagles and langur monkeys in our neighbourhood of Tanjung Bunga, Penang. This was a real highlight for us.
Being a multicultural society, people are very friendly, and English is second language and spoken most places. People are really accommodating, and I found that particularly with the use of my travel scooter. They would try to help where they could, which was lovely.
So here's our total cost for our 3 months journey around Malaysia, including accommodation, transportation, food and groceries, shopping, and our entry fee into some of the sites. Our total spend of $5,600 was actually $400 under our budget, which is a great outcome for our stay in Malaysia. And we didn't really miss out on anything. We did as much as we possibly could. We ate well, saw the sights, and travelled around the place. Now, the other big concern, obviously, for people going to a country is how safe it is. And Malaysia is really safe. There's security on site at all our hotels we stayed in. The people were warm and friendly, and I can't say enough about how proud they seem to be to show off Malaysia.
And with regards to accessibility, because I use a mobility scooter, and a lot of travellers are travelling with mobility aids, canes, walkers. We've seen quite a few people with walkers. So just some notes about that. Some of the main places had some ramps and things. They were pretty good. Georgetown in particular stood out for being fully ramped and accessible. There are some disabled toilets at the main sites and attractions, but not always. You often rely on the ones in the malls, which there seems to be a mall in every block, so they are around, which is great. And then some of the toilets are still squat toilets, not many, but a few, so you just have to be mentally prepared for that. But you navigate that as best you can, and just that awareness that not everywhere is fully accessible. The transportation hubs, so the ferry port, the train stations, all had fully accessible disabled toilets, and very good ones, well designed, so I was pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, so like anything, we did a lot of research before we went to sites, watched YouTube clips to see how accessible they were, and then because we were just taking our time, if it didn't suit, we just went somewhere else, just carried on. Now, I guess every country seems to have some negatives. No one's going to be perfect. And Malaysia had a few. Like, it is very hot and very humid here, and that can take some getting used to. Obviously, we had time. We're here for 3 months and we slowly grew into it. But it does get quite uncomfortable at times, and you just tend to escape the worst part of the day.
Yes, the pool and the aircon got well used in the afternoons. I use neckties that you soak in water and they absorb it in slow release to cool you down. That is something with MS. Overheating is a problem. So you find ways to adapt, and a lot of people had the wee handheld fans. So you do find ways, but it is consistently hot, and I think that's something, if you haven't lived that way, it could be taxing for some people.
And the other thing with Malaysia, it is heavily congested with traffic. Everyone seems to drive. They don't tend to use a lot of the facilities on offer. And to be fair, their driving at times is quite erratic. They don't tend to spend much time in their own lane. So that takes a bit to get used to, especially when you're sitting in the back of a Grab. But, we never felt unsafe, maybe unsure at times, but other than that,
They're confident.
Yeah, it was pretty good. There's quite heavy taxes on imported goods here apparently. So obviously alcohol is more expensive than other countries. Cars apparently are more expensive, and some electronic goods. So be aware if you're looking to purchase something here that you will pay a little bit more than what you expect. And there's not really a lot more to be said.
No.
We've had a really good time here.
We really enjoyed it, and our perspective is from a slow travel experience, and that's sort of the aim of our near future. While I'm well enough, we're going to slow travel.
Okay. So, sorry we're interrupted. Our cleaning ladies decided it would be a good time to change our bath linen. So, back to Malaysia.
So we experienced it as slow travels, and it exceeded our expectations. We had not been to Malaysia before. We've travelled through Southeast Asia pretty extensively, but Malaysia had not been somewhere we'd been before, except for transiting through KL airport. So we were really pleasantly surprised, and we certainly put Penang on our list of maybe places to retire. And I would say that for everybody, our opinions are obviously based on our criteria, which is a little different to others because of my health and mobility, and that you need to have your own sort of set of criteria and check things off. And if a place seems like it might be a good fit, to perhaps look at staying there for a period of maybe 3 to 6 months and make sure, because there's always that honeymoon period with a place where all you see is the positives in it. We tend to be optimistic, positive people, so we tend to focus on the positives. And whilst that is good, sometimes you don't see till a little later that there are some negative points to a place and the society and community that live there. So do your due diligence, especially if you're going to resettle somewhere.
Yeah, so we only barely scratched the surface of Malaysia, I think. There was a lot more for us to explore, and we really look forward to coming back here at some stage to see more of what Malaysia has to offer. And if anyone is thinking of travelling overseas to Southeast Asia, I would definitely put Malaysia on your itinerary. We had a great time here, ate great food, saw amazing things, and met some really wonderful people. So yeah, get to Malaysia.
And felt really relaxed, which isn't always something you find. It's rare now. So yes, make sure you visit.
So if you have enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to enable us to make more informative content. In our next video, we're looking forward to heading to Ambang Beach in central Vietnam for the next stage of our journey. We will go through the online visa process that we had to do to get here, and hopefully give you some information to make this process really easy.